Hello guys, in this video we are going to learn how to create this church flyer design in Adobe Photoshop. So to get started, we will head over to our file and click on create new. The size we are using is 1080 by 1350 pixels and the resolution is 300. So once your size and resolution is set, then you click on create. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is to bring in our background. To do that, we will go to our folder where we've saved the background and drag the background and drop it into Photoshop. So I'm going to expand it to fill the whole screen. Once that is done, the next thing we are going to do is to select our brush tool and make sure our color is set to white. After selecting the brush tool, you make sure the background layer is selected. Then you click on create new layer. Okay, so now we are going to fade in the base or the bottom of the background with the white brush tool. Okay, so we are done with our background. The next thing we are going to do is to select the background, which is the yellow and orange. Then we go to our filters panel. We scroll down to noise and click on add noise. So we are going to, the amount of noise we are going to give is 5. So you enter 5 and click on OK. You select the brush layer, go to the filter and go to noise and give it also an amount of noise. So with the brush layer, which is white, we are going to give it an amount of 10 and then we will click on OK. So now we are done with our background. The next thing we are going to do is to draw a rectangle. So to do that, we will select our rectangular tool and draw a sizable rectangle. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to give it a stroke. And the stroke of our rectangle is going to be white. And after selecting the white stroke, you'll come to the pixels under the stroke and we'll give it 10. Okay, so 10 is too small. We are going to use 20. And once we are done, we are going to duplicate the rectangle and bring it down. And to duplicate this rectangle, you hold on Ctrl and click on J to duplicate when you are using a Windows machine, and Command J when you are using a Mac machine. So once we've duplicated the first one, we will duplicate it again. And after duplicating, we are bringing it to this side. And what we are going to do is we are going to click on the edge. And after clicking on the edge, you come to the top and you see this width and height with a link in between. We are going to click on this link or this icon to deselect it. Once that is done, you will come here and try as much as possible to make the rectangle look like a square. You try to make the rectangle look like a square, and we bring it here a little. So once that is done, we click on OK. You select our previous rectangle and duplicate it and bring it all the way down. But you can see that it is under the square. So we will come to the layers panel, hold it and drag it to the top for it to be on top of the square. So once we are done with this, we are going to expand, or we are going to increase the size a little bit. And to do that, we are going to select all our rectangles and square. And we are going to click on the edge of the blue box around it. So you click on the edge or any of the points. Then we are going to link it back and expand it a little bit. And we bring it down. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to bring in our images. And to bring in the images, we will select the rectangles one after the other. So let's select the first rectangle. So we will click on it, go to your folder, you click on the image and you drag it into the frame. We are going to reduce the size of the image a little bit and make sure it's directly on the rectangle we want it to occupy. And click on OK. You come to the layers panel. On the layer of the image, you right click and you click on create clipping mask. So it will take the shape of the rectangle. So once you are done, then we adjust the image to fit in the rectangle. Okay, so once we are done with the first image, we do the same for the second image. So we select the second rectangle, come to the folder and select the second image. You drag it into the frame. To make sure it is positioned on the rectangle, you reduce the size a little bit. Click on OK. Come to the layers panel, right click on the image and create clipping mask. Okay, so the next one we are going to do, we are going to click on the square, going to drag it in a little bit, go back to our folder, select the image, now drag it into the frame. So once that is done, I'm going to decrease the size a little bit. Position it well on the shape. Click on OK. Come to the layers panel on the image. I'll right click and click on create clipping mask. Now position the image in the clipping mask well. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to bring in our last image. And to do that, we follow the same procedure. You click on the rectangle, come to the folder, select the image and drag it into the frame. Once the image is in the frame, we will reduce the size of the image and position it well on the rectangle. Click on OK. Then we will come to the layers panel on the image. You will right click and click on create clipping mask. Okay, so we are done with the image placement. The next thing we are going to do is we will click on this image and select its rectangle. Once the rectangle under the image is selected, you come to the FX panel. You click on it, you scroll down and click on drop shadow. So we are going to give a little bit of shadow to the rectangle. and the angle used over here is 90%. The opacity is 38. The blend mode is normal, and the color is set to black. The distance is 23, spread 28, and size is 29. So once you are done, you click on OK. You select the next image. Select the rectangle beneath the image. Click on Effect. You scroll down to drop shadow. You click on it and click on OK. So you do the same for this also. You select the image and select the rectangle under the image. You come to FX. You scroll down and click on drop shadow. And you do the same thing too for the last image. You click on it, select the rectangle, come to FX, scroll down and click on drop shadow. Once we are done with this, the next thing we are going to do is to add noise to the image, just as we did for the background. So we select the first image, come to filter, noise, and click on add noise. And I think the 10 is okay, so we will maintain the 10 and click on OK. We select the next image, click on filter. But since we've added noise to the first image, the settings that we did will be on top of this panel when you click on it. So when you click on add noise, it will give the image the same noise amount that the first image was giving. So rather to go through the process, you can just click on add noise and the 10 will be applied to this image as well. You do the same for the rest of the images. You select the image, come to filter, click on add noise and click on OK. And we'll do the same for the last image. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to draw the rectangle. To do that, we select our rectangular tool and draw a rectangle. So after drawing the rectangle, we are going to click on any of the circular points inside the rectangle. You click and hold and drag it inwards a little bit to give the rectangle rounded corners. So once you are done, we position our rectangle right here in the middle. Then you will select the rectangle, come to the properties panel, appearance, and click on fill. Click on fill and you click on this color icon over here to change the color. And we are going to give it a little bit of gray. I think this is okay. The color code is 232222. Then we click on OK. So the next thing we are going to do is give it also noise. So to do that, we will head over to the filters panel. You head over to the filters panel, come to noise and click on add noise. So it's not converted to a smart object, so we click on convert to smart object and give it the noise. And I think the 10 for the rectangle is also okay, so I'll click on OK. So the next thing we are going to do is to create the other rectangle beneath this rectangle. So to do that, we select our rectangular tool and create a rectangle. Just as we did for this, we will click on the circular dot and give it a little bit of rounded corners, and we will make sure it aligns perfectly well with the big rectangle. So you drag it and make sure it's perfectly in line. You can see a pink line which indicates that it is perfectly in line with it. And we come to this side also and we drag it to the edge and make sure it is also in line with it. So what we are going to do is change the color of this rectangle to a gradient. And to do that, we'll come to FX, scroll down a bit and click on gradient overlay. So when you click on gradient overlay, you click in the color and the preset at the top here, you scroll down to oranges, and 1 2 3 4 5, we are using the 5th preset. So you select the 5th preset and click on OK, and make sure the angle is set to and make sure the angle is set to 172. So the next thing we are going to do is to convert it to a smart object. Okay, so after adding the noise, the next thing we are going to do is to write our text. Join us. So we select our type tool and click on the screen and choose caps lock, because what you are writing is in capital letters. So you on your caps lock key and type join us. So I'm going to expand this a little bit. And duplicate it. So to duplicate it, I'll click on Ctrl J and drag it down and write Sunday. So the next thing I'm going to do is draw another rectangle on Join Us Sunday. So I'll select the rectangular tool and draw just a small rectangle like this. And I'll change the color to red. The next thing I'm going to do is tilt the rectangle a bit. Tilt it a bit across the two words. So after tilting it across the two words, we select our type tool again and type the word this. So join us this Sunday. And we'll drag it onto the rectangle. Reduce the size a bit. And tilt it also to match the rectangle. So you take your time and tilt it to match the rectangle perfectly well. So join us this Sunday. So the next thing we are going to do is to write the services, first service and second service. So we select our type tool and write first service. And the first service is at 8:30 a.m. So what I'm going to do next is to reduce the font size. Okay, so the font size is reduced, and I'm going to duplicate this and drag it down and change this to second service. which is also at 10:30 a.m. So I'm going to select the two tests and bring it back a little bit. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to bring in our location icon. We'll bring in our location icon, reduce it a little bit, click on OK, right click on the layer and click on rasterize layer. Once you are done, under the properties panel, we will scroll down to pick actions and click on remove background. So you can see that the background has been removed, but the circle still has the white. So what we are going to do next is to select the quick selection tool, click in the middle and make sure the circle is selected. Once it is selected, you hit on delete on your keyboard and come to the top layer. You click on selection and click on deselect. So now we are done with our location icon, so we will reduce the size and bring it right here. So we pick our type tool and change the color to black. Write the location of our church. I'm going to bring it right here. And duplicate it. I'll duplicate it and bring it down. Reduce the font to 6. And also reduce the font type to Poppins regular. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this one more time and bring it down. So the next thing we are going to do is to write the name of the church and add the logo. So I'm going to duplicate the name of the church over here and drag it up. So I'm going to break it into two. All Christian will be at the top and fellowship will be below it. So I'll position it right here and pick the logo from here, since I forgot to download the logo. You can download any logo of your choice and use for this. So this is how we create a church flyer in Adobe Photoshop. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.